In today's video, we'll be going through the story of Mikasa Ackerman from Attack on Titan. Let's start with the backstory. Mikasa was born to an Asian mother, and her father was a member of the Ackerman clan. She lived peacefully with her parents in the farmlands of 𝐷𝐷𝐼𝐸, helping them since a young age. Mikasa underwent a painful scarring ritual from her mother, who cut into her skin the mark of their family. Being the last of their race made her mother and Mikasa high-value targets to robbers. When she was only 9 years old, a group of traffickers killed her parents and attempted to kidnap her for the purpose of selling her in the human trading market of the capital's underground. Frightened and shocked, Mikasa was rescued by Eren Yeager, the son of her family's doctor. He tricked and killed 2 of the kidnappers, but he was overwhelmed by the 3rd trafficker and on the verge of being strangled. Eren desperately urged Mikasa to fight to win, who came to realize that the world can be callous and merciless before dispatching the robber from behind, who was trying to kill him. When Grisha Yeager arrived with members of the military police brigade, Mikasa was given the scarf by Eren and accepted into his family. This event awakened the fighting instincts and perfect self-control that runs in the Ackerman clan. Mikasa then went to live with Eren's family until the fall of 𝐷𝐷𝐼𝐸. Mikasa appears for the first time in year 845 somewhere inside 𝐷𝐷𝐼𝐸. She is seen waking Eren up, telling him that they need to return to home. She is surprised to see tears in his eyes and asks why he was crying. On the way home, they met Hannes. Mikasa watches as Eren complains about the soldiers slacking off while on duty. Later, both Eren and Mikasa watch the return of the Survey Corps forces, witnessing yet another failure of their expedition. After returning home, Mikasa tells on Eren, revealing to his parents his desire to join the Survey Corps. Annoyed, Eren leaves with Mikasa following him. They save Armin, who is being beaten by local bullies, and together discuss their desire to go outside the walls. At that moment, the 3 kids witness the sudden appearance of an extremely tall titan peering over the top of 𝐷𝐷𝐼𝐸. The 3 are stunned to see one that large, only coming back to their senses when the titan breaches the wall's gate. Mikasa and Eren run back to their home to find it crushed and Carla trapped under the debris. In spite of their attempts, Mikasa and Eren are unable to free her. Hannes rescues them as a titan devours Eren's mother. Mikasa and Eren are placed on a ship just as the armored titan breaks through the inner gate, letting the titans inside 𝐷𝐷𝐼𝐸. She witnesses Eren's vow to kill all the titans as they are transported to safety. After the events of 𝐷𝐷𝐼𝐸's destruction, the government's desperate attempt to reclaim the lands using the refugees leads to nothing but more casualties. This prompts Mikasa, Eren, and Armin to enroll with the army and become members of the 104th Training Corps. During their training, Mikasa helps Eren as much as she can as he initially fails to grasp the basics of the vertical maneuvering equipment, Mikasa quickly proving her skills and is praised as one of the best trainees in military history. At one point, Mikasa asks Annie Leonhardt, a fellow trainee with exceptional skill, to teach her a self-defense technique that she was teaching Eren, which eventually calls for a bet with the 104th Training Corps to see who is the stronger fighter. At the 104th Training Corps graduation, she is ranked 1st in class. Before having the chance to fully apply in the Survey Corps so she can keep Eren safe, the Colossus Titan breaches Wall Rose the same way it did with 𝐷𝐷𝐼𝐸. Much to her dismay, Mikasa is assigned to the rear guard to help fend off the Titans, while the civilians escape into the safety of Wall Shiina. Before fulfilling her duty, she makes Eren promise her not to do anything reckless. Later on, as an abnormal titan approaches the escaping civilians who are blocked at the gate, Mikasa kills it, saving everyone. She then witnesses why the civilians are taking too long to escape. An overloaded cargo cart is blocking the way. Mikasa asks the businessman to move the cart so that the people could escape, but when he refuses, she has to resort threatening him after knocking his guards unconscious, which scares the man enough to relent and move his goods. Seeing a mother and daughter show their gratitude for saving them, Mikasa flashes back to the time she lost her own parents and realizes that Eren is the only family she has left. With the evacuation of Trost District citizens complete, she heads to the front guard in order to aid her comrades. Mikasa finds that because the supply team has barricaded itself inside the military headquarters, the surviving trainees no longer have enough gas to retreat. Noticing that Eren is not present, Mikasa confronts Armin and learns that Eren was devoured by a titan. Despite his clear regret, Mikasa calmly comforts Armin and explains that they must not get emotional in their present predicament. Mikasa rallies the remaining trainees and leads them in a last-ditch effort to reach the headquarters. Because of her grief over Eren's death, Mikasa rushes ahead of her comrades and quickly expends all of her gas, stranding herself in the middle of Trust. As two titans close in on her, she contemplates giving up, but is motivated to keep fighting by memories of Eren. When Mikasa stands up to kill the titan in front of her, another titan comes running from behind and saves her. This titan, which ignores Mikasa, gives Armin enough time to rescue Mikasa, and they both continue heading to the supply HQ. As they watch the attack titan continue killing other titans, they hatch a plan to lure it to the HQ and relieve the siege there. With its help, the trainees manage to successfully refill their gas tanks and have clear access to the wall. However, as they watch the attack titan dispose of the last titans surrounding them, Eren appears out of the nape of its neck. Overcome with relief that Eren is alive, Mikasa quickly rescues and embraces him, everyone leaving for the wall. However, Jean, along with Annie, Reiner, and Bertold, are ordered to hand Eren over to superior officers under the command of 𝐷𝐻𝐻𝐿 and to treat the incident as something confidential. Their refusal to do so causes Mikasa and her friends to be accused of treason and find themselves surrounded by the captain's men, who are prompt to execute them. Mikasa attempts to defend Eren by drawing her blades and threatening to kill anyone who would try to harm Eren, but witnessing Eren's titan from fighting in Trust District, 𝐷𝐻𝐿 does not hesitate and orders a cannon to fire at them in spite of the latter's claim that he is a human. Eren uses his power to block the cannonball and tries to think of a plan of escape. He proposes that they either try to flee over the walls and escape into the Titan territory, or have Armin attempt to persuade the soldiers to spare them, leaving him to choose. Armin tries his best to convince the soldiers that Eren's Titan abilities could help save humanity, but realizes the commander is far too scared to think rationally. Before the order can be given to fire upon them once more, they are saved when Commander 𝐷𝗵𝐼𝐶, head administrator of the southern region, intervenes. They are sent on a mission to plug the breach in the wall with a rock that only Eren in Titan form can lift. As the mission commences and Eren goes into Titan form, he loses control and attacks Mikasa before eventually knocking himself out. Thanks to Armin's intervention, Eren eventually regains his senses and successfully places the rock down, albeit with many casualties. At that moment, they are saved by Levi as he kills the titans approaching them. After the Battle of Trust District is over, Eren is brought before a military tribunal to decide his future. Despite Mikasa's best efforts to defend him, she's forced to testify against Eren as his reckless actions have frightened many people in the courtroom. She is also forced to watch helplessly as Eren is assaulted and humiliated by Levi. Sometime later, Mikasa and everyone else have their vertical maneuvering equipment inspected in order to find out the culprit who killed the two captured titans. Later on, Commander Erwin Smith comes to recruit new members for the Survey Corps, which is scheduling an expedition within a few months. Many leave, except for Mikasa, Reiner, Armin, Sasha, Krista, Ymir, Connie, Jean, Bertolt, and a few others. Mikasa is then seen to be a part of the 57th expedition. Shortly after leaving for Wall Maria, the female Titan appears and defeats numerous Survey Corps members. The formation eventually reaches the Titan Forest, with Mikasa being stationed at its outskirts, making sure that no Titans enter the forest. As the Corps is preparing to return to Wall Rose, Mikasa hears the roar of Eren's Titan and abandons her post to go and help him. Mikasa finds Eren just in time to see the female Titan defeat and devour him. After overcoming her initial shock, Mikasa begins an enraged assault on the female Titan, cutting it up to try to rescue Eren. Her attacks prove to be ineffectual against the Titan until she is joined by Levi. Mikasa insists that Eren is still alive, and Levi agrees to help rescue him. With Levi coordinating their attacks, they quickly overwhelm the Titan, but Mikasa becomes reckless and attempts to kill the Titan against Levi's orders. Levi is wounded, saving her from the Titan, but manages to cut open its jaw in the process. Mikasa retrieves Eren from the Titan's mouth, and the group retreats. Following the Survey Corps' failure, Armin manages to convince Annie to help them out until they can gather evidence to prove to the king that the walls need to be protected better. She prepares for battle when she gets fed up with Annie's games. She takes off her disguise and draws out her sword to fight her, promising to cut up the female Titan one more time. When Eren is unable to initially transform and shows some hesitancy in fighting Annie, Mikasa berates him and decides to go with Armin to distract Annie until Eren is able to transform. Eventually, Eren arrives and starts to fight Annie, but it's made apparent that he is not powerful enough to defeat Annie by himself. Being the strongest and most powerful soldier herself, she decides to take the fight to her. Despite being ordered to pull away by Hanji Zoe, Mikasa manages to make it to Annie as she attempted to climb over 𝐷𝐤𝐤 to escape to the flatlands. Eren throws Mikasa upwards so she can catch up with the female Titan and cut off all her fingers. She then proceeds to push Annie off to fall to the ground. Annie is therefore captured, but encases herself in a crystal to avoid interrogation. However, it was far from over, as Mikasa has just taken notice of a Titan inside the wall. As both the Survey Corps and military police take and uncased Annie underground to detain her, Mikasa realizes the Titan hiding in 𝐷𝐤𝐤 is alive, but is too weak to move due to a lack of sunlight. Mikasa remains at Eren's bedside as Armin and Jean head down to a meeting involving Erwin and the military police. Following the supposed breach of 𝐷𝐤𝐤, Mikasa, Eren, and other members of the Survey Corps come to rescue Reiner and the others from the other Titans. She is among the others who learn of Krista's real name being Historia. After they reach the top of 𝐷𝐤𝐤, Mikasa is outraged when she overhears Reiner confessing that he and Bertholdt were the Titans responsible for the attack on Wall Maria and wanted Eren to join them. She takes them by surprise, attacking them with her swords and tells Eren to run. However, she fails to kill them as Reiner stops her from doing so, transforming afterward and attempting to kidnap Eren. While Eren transforms and engages in battle with Reiner, Mikasa faces her own troubles and regrets for not cutting off both his and Bertholdt's heads when she had the chance. During the fight with Reiner, she sees Eren in trouble and tries to fight him off. However, due to the thickness of the armor, Mikasa has a hard time slicing the nape of Reiner's neck. Eventually, Armin sees a weak link in Reiner's line of defense in which his armor is breaking and gives Mikasa extra blades to replace her own. Taking advantage of the information, she cuts him at the back of the kneecaps. However, Bertholdt manages to save Reiner thanks to his abilities of the Colossus Titan, knocking out most of the soldiers in the process. Later, Mikasa, along with Hanji and others from the Survey Corps, are injured from the heat blast from Bertholdt's Titan form. While Armin helps them recover, he gives Mikasa the news that she was dreading to hear. Eren, along with Ymir, was kidnapped by both Reiner and Bertholdt. Taking the scarf that he gave her, Mikasa covers her face with it and asks why Eren always runs off on them like that. She feels that she has failed in keeping her promise to Eren's mother to always protect him and weeps. As Armin tries to console her, Hannes arrives to give out rations to the Legion. It was him who reminds her that despite him running off the way he does and often losing fights, he never gives up on them. Even though the odds are stacked against him and he is unwilling to admit it, Hannes always knew that Eren relied on both Mikasa and Armin when he needed them. His words and his assistance reinvigorated them and are more determined to rescue Eren. She joins the joint military operation to rescue Eren and heads to the forest of giant trees where they hope to find Reiner, Bertholdt, and their captives. Once they arrive, she joins Hannes and a number of her fellow soldiers in searching the inside of the forest where they encounter Ymir in her Titan form. Ymir kidnaps Historia and flees while Mikasa and the others chase after her. At the forest's edge, Reiner transforms into the Armored Titan. Ymir jumps on his back and Bertholdt, carrying an unconscious Eren, rides on his shoulder. The soldiers follow the group on horseback and try to free Eren from Bertholdt, but Ymir interferes with their attempts. Realizing that armor was protecting Reiner's joints this whole time, she instead targets Ymir and slashes into her face. Historia jumps in the way, saying that Ymir does not have a choice but to help Reiner and Bertholdt. Fearing that Ymir will be killed, Historia convinces her to back down, leaving the rest of the 104th free to try talking Bertholdt into letting Eren go. Though Mikasa is considerably less forgiving than the others, Jean and Connie try to speak to Bertholdt and coax him into surrendering, but Mikasa coldly states that their reasons do not matter. She is momentarily stayed by Bertholdt's apologies for what he and Reiner have done, but when she requests again that Eren be returned, Bertholdt refuses. Before the group can argue further, Hannes shouts a warning to them that a huge group of Titans is being led straight towards them by Erwin Smith. Mikasa retreats, but it's not long before Erwin orders them to attack one more time, claiming this to be the key moment for humanity's survival. Mikasa makes a dash to reach Eren and launches herself at Bertholdt, but she misses and sees Eren watching her in panic. Her trajectory carries her straight into another Titan that grabs her hard enough to crush her ribs. Jean, who had been riding just behind her, attacks the Titan, burying his blade in its eye and allowing Mikasa to get free. With Armin's help, Erwin is able to cut Eren free from Bertholdt and Mikasa catches him in the air. The two of them flee on horseback but are knocked to the ground when Reiner begins throwing Titans at the retreating soldiers. As they look up, they see the smiling Titan, which ate Eren's mother, approaching them. Mikasa is unable to defend Eren due to her injury, but Hannes buys them time in an attempt to avenge Carla. Eren shouts for Mikasa to free his arms so he can help fight, but when he tries biting himself to transform, nothing happens. As Hannes is killed and the battle turns against the soldiers around them, Eren falls into despair, feeling that he has never had the power to do anything. Mikasa asks him to listen to her. He showed her how to live with purpose, and he wrapped his scarf around her, and for that, she is grateful. She smiles with tears in her eyes, and Eren vows to wrap that scarf around her as many times as she wants. He punches the smiling Titan, triggering something that causes all the other mindless Titans to attack it. In the resulting confusion, he carries Mikasa away on his back and also sends the Titans after Reiner and Bertolt. They escape with the rest of the surviving soldiers and return to Toss District. Mikasa and the rest of the joint military operation participants arrive back at 𝐷. A short time later, she's recovered enough that she feels well enough to cut firewood while she hides out in a remote cabin along with Jean, Connie, Sasha, Armin, Historia, and Eren, the new members of Levi's Special Operations Squad. She is present when Levi holds a meeting at the cabin with his squad and Hanjis. They discuss recapturing 𝐷, assuming that Eren can harden his Titan form to plug the hole. There are complications, however, with the death of Minister Nick at the hands of the Interior Military Police. Mikasa and the rest of Levi's squad observe Hanji's experiments with Eren. They don't go smoothly though, and Mikasa has to resort to using her blades to cut Eren out of his Titan after his third attempt results in Eren only partially transforming and becoming unresponsive. Levi gripes over their lackluster results since Eren cannot harden himself, and without that ability, they cannot reclaim 𝐷. Mikasa defends Eren's efforts, but Levi assures her he does not blame Eren, he just needs to vent. At night, they receive orders from Erwin, and Levi asks those members of his squad dumb enough to trust the commander to come with him. They manage to escape before intruders reach their cabin and hurry to their rendezvous point in Trust District. There, a carriage comes crashing through and seemingly kidnaps Eren and Historia. However, the kidnapped victims are actually Jean and Armin in disguise. Mikasa joins Levi and the rest of their squad in tracking the robbers to their hideout. They attack the kidnappers before Jean and Armin's disguise can be discovered, while Mikasa herself is tackling the ringleader, who turns out to be 𝐷𝐷𝐼𝐻, the merchant boss who was blocking the gate with his cargo the day Trost was invaded. Levi takes him for a talk on top of 𝐷. After hearing his story about being coerced by the Interior Military Police, Levi agrees to hand over Eren and Historia to Mikasa's consternation. However, Levi has multiple conditions that will require the full cooperation of the Reeves Company. 𝐷𝐷𝐼𝐻 agrees and baits Gel Sanez and Ralph of the Interior First Squad into a trap so they can be captured by the Survey Corps. Mikasa and the rest of Levi's squad listen to Gel Sanez's screams as he is tortured in the basement of their current hideout. She does not comment as the rest of the squad laments or endorse the actions they have taken up until this point. Armin says they are not good people anymore. As planned, Levi's squad begins trailing the hearse carrying the two coffins that contain Eren and Historia. They hear gunshots, revealing that Levi has been discovered, and shortly after they see him swing into view. His pursuers are outfitted with specialized vertical maneuvering equipment designed to allow the firing of guns. Levi lands in the wagon and orders his squad to stop following the hearse because it's a trap. When Marlo Freudenberg and Hitch Drace come into the forest to look for Survey Corps soldiers, Mikasa and Levi ambush them while Armin distracts them as bait. Mikasa and Armin take their uniforms and put them on with the intention of infiltrating the military police to find out where Eren and Historia have been taken. However, Marlo and Hitch do not take their capture quietly. Hitch berates Levi, and Marlo offers to help their cause. Jean asks if he can handle them, and Levi allows him to secretly test their intentions. When they pass, the squad uses their help to launch an attack on an Interior Military Police compound. After crippling most of the people inside, Levi and his squad escape with a hostage, but they do not find Eren and Historia. Levi brutally interrogates him about their location until the name Kenny Ackerman comes out. Mikasa is surprised upon hearing this last name, and Levi reacts as well. Before they can question their hostage further, they hear people approaching on foot. The newcomers turn out to be Hanji, Marlo, and Hitch, arriving with the news that the false charges against the Survey Corps have been dropped, and the capital is now under the control of Commander-in-Chief Darius Zackley due to a coup d'etat. Levi's squad celebrates the news. They still have to rescue Eren and Historia though. and Hanji has an idea regarding where they are. Hanji suspects that Eren is going to be eaten in order to obtain his Titan power. Erwin had a report commissioned on the Reese estate, and assuming that Eren and Historia were captured by the Reese family, that's likely where they're being held. The day 𝐷𝐷 fell, a group of bandits burned down the village chapel while the Reese family was inside. But fire alone should not have destroyed a stone building. After escaping as the lone survivor, Rod Reese rebuilt the place with his own assets. Hanji finds it suspicious, so they head over there. On the way, Levi warns his squad that Kenny Ackerman will be their biggest obstacle because fighting him will be like fighting Levi himself. He asks Mikasa if she thinks Kenny might be related to her since they share the same last name. She thinks about it and tells him that she knows that her father's family was persecuted, but not the reason why. Levi then asks her whether she experienced a moment when she felt a sudden power awaken inside her, and she remembers the moment she took up the knife to kill her kidnapper. Levi tells her that he and Kenny also experienced such moments in their lives. They arrive at the chapel and find the secret door leading underground. The team makes preparations for facing the anti-personnel control squad, which is waiting for them below. When they're ready, they send barrels of gunpowder and bags of oil down the stairs. Sasha sets fire to them with a flaming arrow and fills the underground chamber with smoke, reducing visibility and the usefulness of firearms. Most of the squad provides additional cover with signal flares, while Mikasa and Levi scout out their enemies using vertical maneuvering gear. Levi calls for his squad to take out the interior MPs, and the team springs into action. After a concerted push, they manage to force the anti-personnel squad into a retreat. Mikasa and the rest of Levi's squad are suddenly stopped by a bright flash deeper in the cavern. The squad arrives in time for Mikasa to catch Historia, who had been flung back against the wall from the force of Rod Reese's transformation into a Titan. Mikasa asks if she is okay before taking the keys to Eren's chains from her and throwing them to Levi so he can free him. The ceiling begins caving in, trapping the squad. Eren apologizes for being useless, but Levi and Historia goad him into taking matters into his own hands. He gets up and grabs a bottle labeled armor that had fallen out of Rod's bag and breaks it between his teeth as he transforms into a Titan. Eren's Titan form then crystallizes, stabilizing the cavern around the squad, preventing them from being crushed. Even after Mikasa helps cut him out of it, his hardened form does not disappear, which Levi states is a huge development, as they can now seal the hole in 𝐷𝐷. Mikasa joins the rest of her squad in meeting up with Erwin and pulling back to 𝐷𝐷 district, where they make preparations to fight gargantuan Titan that used to be Rod Reese. At dawn, the Titan arrives and Eren, Mikasa, and Armin assemble a stack of barrels filled with gunpowder at Hanji's direction. Mikasa finds Eren moping and prods him back to work. However, to her surprise, he punches his own face to bring himself back to his senses. When Rod reaches the wall, Levi instructs the garrison soldiers to flee while the Survey Corps soldiers douse themselves in water to withstand the heat. Eren changes into his Titan form and uses the stacked barrels as an explosive by shoving them down Rod's open mouth. Mikasa joins the rest of the Survey Corps in cutting down the pieces of Titan that rain down to ensure that the main body of Rod Reese is slain. After Historia's coronation, Mikasa is seen with her friends looking for Levi in order for Historia to live up to the last words that Demo Reeves spoke to her. When they find him, Historia punches him in the arm, and all of squad Levi shouts and cheers. However, Levi smiles at his squad and thanks them in response, much to everyone's surprise. 2 months later, Historia can be seen running an orphanage and taking care of abandoned children. Eren, Jean, and Armin talk about Historia's new role, while Sasha, Connie, and Mikasa help carry supplies. When Historia finds them, she tells them to stop slacking. While Armin and Jean go on ahead, she has a small conversation with Eren, but they're interrupted by a stone-faced Mikasa, who takes the items Eren was carrying, saying he's tired from all his training. While the soldiers eat and celebrate the success of the executioner from hell fashioned by Hanji, Mikasa remains silent throughout most of the conversation until Eren begins to remember the day he ate his father. Recognizing where his mind is going, Mikasa stops him, saying that he should finish eating before talking. He doesn't stop trying to remember though, and suddenly he realizes that the man that his father met the day 𝐷𝐷 fell was their old instructor, �keith_SHADIS. The following day, Eren, Mikasa, Armin, and others travel to the training camp to talk with �keith_SHADIS. They talk inside a small house, and Keith tells them everything he knows. How he met Grisha Yeager 20 years ago outside the walls, his relation with him and Eren's mother during those years, and how he was present in the night Grisha injected Eren with the Titan serum, but did not see anything, and at the end does not know anything about Grisha's secrets. Some days later, thanks to Eren's training and new technology developed by Hanji, the operation to take back 𝐷 is ready to begin the next day. That night, the soldiers have a great dinner to celebrate. Mikasa is present, eating and watching Sasha's rampage and Jean and Eren's fight. Even when Jean blames Eren for the dangers that he puts in Mikasa, she calmly decides not to intervene. When the fight ends, she sits with Eren and Armin talking about their future. What will happen once they reconquest 𝐷, and wondering if everything will be like before. However, Armin not only thinks in that, he considers being part of the Survey Corps will allow them to see the ocean and the whole world. The following day, the Survey Corps are ready to go to 𝐈𝐺𝐻 district. After hearing the cheers of the citizens, Erwin starts the operation at sundown, and Mikasa rides along Squad Levi towards 𝐈𝐺𝐻. As dawn approaches, the Corps walk within a mountaintop forest. Mikasa leads Eren's horse despite his complaints, as the others encourage him to rest as much as possible for his upcoming duties. Jean spots a nearby Titan, and Hanji quickly orders the group to illuminate the area with their fragments of the Reese Chapel cave. Hanji claims that it is dozing away, and the group moves on. A few moments after this, Mikasa begins to recognize the area that they're in, and claims that she collected firewood there once before. Eren and Armin also begin to recognize the area, and Mikasa notes that she can hear the river stream. The group then finds themselves near the 𝐈𝐺𝐻 district and race in on horses. Erwin orders that all soldiers switch to vertical maneuvering equipment and rush the main gate, covered by their hoods to distract any watching enemies. Mikasa is among the soldiers surrounding the gate as Eren flies up above to transform. After Eren successfully seals the hole in 𝐷, Mikasa retrieves him from his Titan form and returns him to the top of the wall. Giving Eren her cloak, Mikasa accompanies the rest of her squad as they return to meet up with Erwin and the rest of the Survey Corps. However, before they can return, they see a signal flare fired by Erwin and stop to wait further orders. From her position, Mikasa and her comrades are able to observe as Reiner reveals himself to be hiding inside the wall, and the Beast Titan and his army materialize to engage the Survey Corps. After taking up positions around the brawling Eren and Reiner, Mikasa waits until Eren is able to maneuver Reiner into an area of town with tall buildings. Once Eren has succeeded in this task, Mikasa and Hanji use their new Thunder Spears to blind him. The entire squad moves in and destroys Reiner's nape with their Thunder Spears. Afterward, Mikasa attempts to console a horrified Armin, but is interrupted by Reiner's Titan form, which begins roaring. After Armin reveals to Hanji that Bertholdt is approaching, Mikasa and the rest of the soldiers retreat from Reiner's immediate vicinity in order to escape being caught in the blast of Bertholdt's transformation to Titan form. When Bertholdt chooses not to transform in order to check on Reiner, Armin attempts to negotiate with him. However, while Armin is attempting to talk with Bertholdt, Mikasa takes the opportunity to attack Bertholdt from behind. She is unsuccessful in killing him and comments on his drastic change in personality as he flees. When Mikasa and Armin are returning to their comrade's position, Bertholdt finally transforms and they're forced to hide behind a building to shield themselves from the blast. They then regroup with the rest of Squad Levi and inform them that Hanji's squad has apparently been destroyed by the blast. Mikasa suggests that Armin take the lead of their squad, though Armin then gives Jean command. Eren tries to get Bertholdt's attention, but he ignores them. Deciding that they will have to engage Bertholdt directly, Mikasa takes Connie's Thunder Spear and prepares to engage Bertholdt. While Eren attacks Bertholdt directly, Mikasa and the rest of the squad spread out to try and find an opening to attack Bertholdt. However, before they can act, Bertholdt kicks Eren into the side of 𝐷 to Mikasa's horror. Jean assures her that Eren is not dead and that their main concern at the moment is taking down Bertholdt. Jean formulates a plan for he, Connie, and Sasha to draw Bertholdt's attention while Mikasa strikes his nape with the Thunder Spears. Just as Mikasa moves in to strike Bertholdt, he uses his steam to prevent her from reaching him. She asks Armin if he believes that there's any possible way for them to fight back, but he sees none. They are startled by the sound of a house exploding behind them. From it emerges Reiner, his head fully regenerated. While Armin and Eren choose to confront the Colossus Titan, Mikasa agrees to join the others in an attack against the Armor Titan. As Reiner begins to run to Eren, Mikasa sends one of her Thunder Spears into his knees, crippling him. She notices the Colossus Titan in the distance beginning to emit much steam, causing her to worry about Eren and Armin for a moment before she returns her focus to the attack on Reiner. While the others proceed with a plan that they devise to defeat Reiner, Sasha is injured and misses her Thunder Spear attack on the hinge of the armored titan's jaw. Mikasa realizes that since she has the only Thunder Spear left and Reiner's jaw has not been completely unhinged, she cannot proceed with the plan to blow Reiner's body out of his nape by sending a Thunder Spear into his mouth. As she considers the situation, Hanji returns to the battle, sending their own Thunder Spear at Reiner and destroying his other jaw hinge. With the plan now on the verge of success, Mikasa jumps into Reiner's mouth, ordering him to get out as she sends her final Thunder Spear into his mouth, defeating the armored titan. While Hanji interrogates an injured Reiner, Mikasa begins treating Jean's injuries. Although Hanji wants to execute Reiner, Jean convinces them to keep him alive long enough to steal his powers with the Titan injection. Hanji orders Mikasa to go retrieve the serum from Levi and to send up a signal flare if there's a change of plans, so that Hanji will know to kill Reiner. When Mikasa arrives at Levi's position, she's horrified to find a hysterical Eren trying to keep a badly injured Armin alive. As Levi agrees to use the Titan serum to save Armin's life, Mikasa shoots a flare to notify Hanji that Reiner must be killed. However, Levi's mind is swayed by the arrival of another soldier, who reveals that Erwin is also mortally wounded. Horrified by Levi's announcement that he will save Erwin and not Armin, Mikasa draws her blade and begins to advance upon him. As Levi punches Eren in the face, Mikasa pins him to the rooftop and draws her blade to his neck. Noticing how worn out Levi is, she attempts to grab the Titan serum from his hand, as Levi reminds her that without Erwin's strength, humanity can never defeat the Titans. When Floch approaches her, she flips her blade in order to strike him with the blunt side of the sword and knocks him down, only to be stopped by Hanji Zoe. As they both struggle, Mikasa eventually capitulates, remembering a happier time when she, Eren, and Armin were children, as tears rolled down her face. After Armin returns to his human form, Mikasa, along with Eren, picks him up off the ground as she cries tears of joy to see he is alive and well. Atop the wall, after Eren informs Armin of what has happened after the battle ended, Hanji orders Mikasa, Levi, and Eren to continue surveying and head for the Yeager family's house. Upon reaching the basement's door, Eren tries to open the door's lock and is surprised that the key does not fit. Mikasa says that she is sure that was the key Dr. Yeager had. Levi then proceeds and kicks down the door and they enter the room. They find it had been set up to appear as much as possible a common doctor's office. However, after further investigation, Mikasa discovers a keyhole on a locked drawer in the desk, which the key unlocks. The drawer seemed empty at first, but Levi notices the false bottom and under it were 3 hidden books kept intact with various preservatives. Mikasa and Eren open the first book, and within it, they find an uncannily realistic portrait of Grisha standing beside a fair-haired woman and a child. On the back of it, Grisha had written that it is not an illustration, it is called a photograph, and that humanity has not perished. Upon returning to the walls, Eren and Mikasa are put in prison cells as punishment for their actions against Levi. During this time, Armin visits them and logs Eren's memories as he retells them of many events in his father Grisha's life that matched up with what was found in the books in his basement. Among these memories is a conversation between him and Eren Kruger, an allied spy to the Eldian restorationists. During this conversation, Kruger tells Grisha that anyone who has inherited the power of the Titans will only live for 13 more years, as no one with this power can outlive its original owner, Ymir Fritz, who founded the nation of Eldia and all its subjects. Upon hearing this revelation, Mikasa becomes very depressed and denies its validity, knowing that Armin and Eren only have a short number of years left to live, if it's true. After Hanji, the current commander, puts too much pressure on Eren in the next prison cell, Levi orders them free. Mikasa leaves her cell, having lost weight in her state of depression. Mikasa attends a military meeting on how to proceed with the findings of the basement in Trost. She sits silently as Hanji deliberates their interpretation of the events, but is shocked and confused when Eren shouts all of a sudden during the meeting. Mikasa then continues being quiet until the conclusion of the meeting, with the decision made to release all discoveries made by the Survey Corps to the public. The 9 surviving members of the Survey Corps later attend a ceremony to be honored for their success in the Battle of Shiganshina District. Before the start of the ceremony, Eren gets into an argument with Floch over Armin being saved over Commander Erwin. When she attempts to calm Eren down, Floch commends Mikasa over her acting like an adult and giving up in saving Armin. This statement surprises and upsets her. She would later go on to be commemorated for her bravery in Shiganshina with a medal. Roughly a year after the Battle of Trost District, the Titan guillotines had eradicated all Titans within 𝐷𝐼𝐸, allowing citizens to repopulate Shiganshina. The Survey Corps was able to hold an expedition beyond the walls for the first time in 6 years. After following a deformed Titan's trail, the Survey Corps reached the edge of Paradis Island and behold the ocean. The Survey Corps dismounts their horses, discard their boots, and head to the beachfront. Mikasa is startled by an ocean wave, but goes on to give Armin a warm smile. She listens as Armin begins to joyfully talk with Eren over the size of the ocean. However, these happy moments fade as Eren solemnly states that the ocean does not hold freedom and enemies are over the other side. 1 year after retaking Shiganshina, Mikasa goes with the other members of the Survey Corps to intercept a survey ship sent from Marley. Like the others present, Mikasa is surprised to see 2 sailors rebel and force the others to surrender. While watching the two meet with Levi and Hanji, Mikasa ponders what their plan might be while trying to wake up Sasha. An alliance is formed between Paradis and the group of rebels, calling themselves the Anti-Marleyan Volunteers, and preparations and training begin for the impending war with Marley. While at a firing range, Mikasa and Armin both agree that it's good to see both sides are getting along with each other, but are visibly troubled by Eren's insistence that Paradis must launch a preemptive assault on Marley to buy themselves more time to prepare. Later on, Mikasa is among the Survey Corps members that meet with an ambassador from the nation of Hizuru named Kiyomi Azumabito. At a meeting between the two parties, Kiyomi displays the crest of the Azumabito clan, and Mikasa is shaken to see it is the same as a tattoo on her wrist. After some prompting by Eren, Mikasa shares it, saying that her mother gave it to her as a girl and to pass it down to her children later on. Kiyomi describes how both Hizuru and Eldia were allies long ago and laments that the nation suffered after the Great Titan War. Kiyomi finishes by stating that Mikasa is the descendant of Hizuru's lost lord and the hope for their nation. Although Mikasa is overwhelmed by this information, Historia is ecstatic, believing that Hizuru will be more willing to trust Paradis due to Mikasa's lineage. Later, after spending the day building train tracks, Eren mentions that he only has roughly 5 years left to live and begins to consider who he should pass his Titan abilities to. Mikasa immediately volunteers herself, but Jean advises against it. Mikasa is half Asian and they don't know what the Ackerman clan is. As the others volunteer themselves also, Eren decides to not choose any of them due to valuing their friendship and not wanting to have any of their lives forcibly cut short on his behalf. Mikasa is one of several Survey Corpsmen who journey to Marley's mainland to meet with Kiyomi. When Eren leaves in the middle of the meeting, Mikasa and the rest of the 104th graduates go searching for him. Mikasa finds him looking at a cluster of refugee tents. At first, she begins to reprimand him for going outside alone when he is their enemy's most wanted target, but then she realizes that he's looking at the boy who stole from Sasha and Levi earlier in the day, as well as the boy's family. Eren tells her that these tents are where these people live after losing their homes to war. The people here are like the two of them. One day, life stopped being normal and everything was taken away. He asks Mikasa why she cares about him so much, whether it's because he saved her when they were kids or because they're family. Mikasa stammers at first, but then replies that he is family. The rest of their friends arrive and interrupt their conversation, disappointing Eren. The group end up having dinner with the family living near the Azumabito estate, spending the night drinking and carousing. The soldiers sit in on a hearing between politicians to discuss Eldian mistreatment. They're horrified when the speakers begin calling for the hatred being shown towards Eldians to be redirected towards the Eldians living on Paradis. As they're listening, Mikasa notices Eren quietly depart from the meeting. As Eren begins his assault on the Marleyans, Mikasa joins the Survey Corps in retrieving him and attacking Liberio. During the battle between Eren and the Warhammer Titan, Mikasa attacks the Warhammer from behind, using a modified mount with multiple Thunder Spears. She launches all 8 at the Warhammer's nape, 7 of which land solidly in the neck, where they explode. Mikasa lands on the shoulder of the decapitated Attack Titan and asks Eren to come home. She later questions him if he has any idea of what he's done, as he's killed civilians, including children, and there's no way to undo that. However, Eren doesn't answer the question and instead points out that the Warhammer Titan is still alive. Mikasa is shocked to see the Titan standing up, since she's sure that she destroyed its nape completely, and the Warhammer Titan then fires a pike of its hardened substance towards them. Mikasa quickly grabs Eren and flees away of the attack Titan's body, barely avoiding getting struck. Eren comes up with a plan to defeat and eat the Warhammer Titan and asks Mikasa to distract the enemy enough for him to enact it. Mikasa re-engages the Warhammer Titan while Eren transforms back into the attack Titan and captures the younger sister of Willy, who was hiding under the ground encased in crystal and controlling the Warhammer remotely via a long cord. Mikasa watches as Eren severs the connection and prepares to eat the younger sister of Willy, but then is horrified to see Galliard attacking him from behind, and she and Levi go to aid him. After Levi and Eren manage to hold off Galliard, Mikasa intercepts him and knocks him down off the wall with a thunder spear. Other Survey Corps soldiers come to fight the Titan, but they're shot by the Panzer unit on top Peak's cart Titan, although Mikasa is among the ones who manage to escape. She then sees Eren being caught off guard by the reappearance of the Warhammer Titan and Zeke Yeager's Beast Titan arriving to the battle. As Zeke joins Galliard and Peak and orders them not to let anyone escape and wipe them all out, Levi orders the Corps to face their enemies and to survive. While the Survey Corps and warriors clash, Mikasa attempts to destroy the Warhammer's crystal with a thunder spear, but it fails to even crack. Staying close to Eren, she watches as he then unsuccessfully tries to consume the crystal. She witnesses an explosion at the nearby harbor, signaling the arrival of Armin and the Colossus Titan. When the Jaw Titan attempts to charge Eren, Mikasa intervenes. Having worn an updated set of the traditional vertical maneuvering gear alongside the anti-personnel variant, she draws her blades and prepares to fight it once more. Mikasa swings her swords at the Jaw Titan, but it lunges out of the way and goes for the attack Titan. She follows it and tries to provide support, and as it momentarily breaks off from the attack, Mikasa notes that this current Jaw Titan is much faster and different from Ymir's Titan. It then switches its focus from Eren to an incoming airship that serves as the Survey Corps' method of retreat from the battle. Mikasa anticipated the Jaw Titan going after it and manages to catch it off guard. She comes from underneath it and throws it off balance by slicing through both legs and severs one of its feet. Mikasa observes Eren using the Jaw Titan to kill and consume the powers of the Warhammer Titan. After Eren gets caught by surprise from Reiner's Armor Titan, Mikasa flies to Eren and convinces him to come back home. She then leaves with Eren and flies toward the incoming airship. After they board the airship, Levi kicks Eren due to his insubordination, infuriating Mikasa. She tries to protest, but is stopped by Armin. The four meet with Zeke and Yelena at another part of the ship. A commotion ensues outside and Connie and Jean enter the room, carrying two captured stowaways. Jean announces that one of them shot Sasha and she's unlikely to survive, prompting Mikasa and Armin to run out of the room to see her. Sasha dies from her injuries, with Mikasa and Armin futilely trying to wake her. As Mikasa is visiting Sasha's grave, she's interrupted by the sound of Connie and Jean saving Niccolo from being harassed by a military police brigade soldier. As Niccolo pays his respects to Sasha, Mikasa informs him of how she died. Later that night, Mikasa is with Armin, Connie, and Jean, with the latter expressing dismay that the anti-Marleyan volunteers were arrested. When Connie mentions that they should be prepared to kill Eren if he sides with their enemy, Mikasa opposes him, but he glares at her and asks if she would side with the enemy too. Mikasa says no, but claims that Eren still cares for them and tries to convince them his recent behavior is reflective of that. The others don't believe her, and Jean brings up the fact that despite this, Eren still had no problem forcing them to fight, and that resulted in Sasha's death. Mikasa is further shocked when Connie stated that Eren laughed when told that Sasha had died. Armin decides they should prepare for a worst-case scenario to have someone turn and kill Eren if he proves to be a threat. Mikasa protests that he still has several years left, but Armin states they will decide what happens after confirming where Eren stands. After a group of Survey Corps recruits leak the news of Eren's arrest to the public and are found out, Mikasa attends the hearing that Hanji conducts with them. After hearing them out, Hanji orders the perpetrators jailed for their actions, and Mikasa escorts one of them, Louise, to her cell. Louise tries to justify Eren's actions and convince Mikasa to help free him, but Mikasa simply cuts her off and leaves. She meets up with Armin and notifies him that Darius Zackley has agreed to see them. Both of them are stunned to hear 𝐸𝐴𝐤 refuse their request to see Eren, and Mikasa is taken aback by the possibility that Zeke Yeager has been controlling Eren's behavior and movements prior to the attack on Liberio. After being sent away, Mikasa notices several military police soldiers enter 𝐸𝐴𝐤's office and decides to eavesdrop. Armin tries to persuade her not to, but she insists on knowing what direction the Survey Corps is going. Suddenly, she grabs Armin and dives away just as an explosion goes off in 𝐸𝐴𝐤's office. They both go outside and see 𝐸𝐴𝐤's dismembered corpse from the blast. Mikasa is speechless about who could have been behind the assassination as the crowd of protesters chant in approval. During an emergency meeting by the other heads of the military, Mikasa hears Armin testify that he observed recruits from the Survey Corps leave the area and were most likely responsible for the explosion. She's shocked to hear that Eren has escaped confinement and blocked his escape route so no one could follow him. Mikasa accompanies Armin, Hanji, and 𝐸𝐤𝐤 as the military conduct a search for the renegades, staring blankly ahead and unresponsive to Armin as he tries to calm her. Later, Mikasa attends another meeting to plan the military's response to the emergence of the rebels, now dubbed the Yeagerists. As the meeting concludes, Kiyomi pulls Mikasa aside to ask her to consider fleeing to the Azumabito's ship if the need arises. Mikasa thanks her for her consideration, though makes it clear that she sees herself as an Eldian foremost and intends to see the fate of the island that raised her. Heading outside with the other Survey Corps veterans, Mikasa briefly squabbles with Connie over Eren's connection to the Yeagerists and over being suspected. Believing Zeke to have a secret scheme, the Corps ride out to a lead, a restaurant employing Marleyan workers. After arriving for their investigation and meeting up with Niccolo, Mikasa and the others wait in a back room for him to finish his work. A short while later, Armin calls everybody into the main room, where Niccolo is attacking the runaway warrior candidates over the murder of Sasha. Eventually, when Mr. Blouse's understanding attitude calms the situation down, Mikasa goes over to the female candidate to check on her wounds. Suddenly, another young girl named Kaya attempts to stab the candidate. However, Mikasa blocks the attack. Mikasa and Armin take her into the next room as the Blouse family weep. In a separate room, Mikasa sits with Gabi and Armin. When asked by Gabi why she saved her, Mikasa does not give any reason why, when Eren unexpectedly appears. Before they can say anything, Eren silently holds up his right hand, which is bleeding. Understanding Eren's intent if they don't comply, Mikasa and Armin obey his request to sit down at the table. As they hear Flock lead the others away, Mikasa can only sit in stunned silence while Eren and Armin begin to talk. When Eren mentions himself finally being free, Mikasa says that he is not and is being controlled by Zeke. She mentions how Eren was not like this ever before and brings up how he saved her from being kidnapped all those years ago, pointing to the scarf Eren gave her. Eren glares at her and firmly reminds her to keep her hands on the table. Stunned by this reaction, Mikasa silently complies. After Eren calls Armin a useless traitor, Mikasa asks Eren what he's doing and hears that Eren learned about her family's lineage from Zeke as well. She hears from Eren that the Ackerman clan can manifest the power of the Titans while remaining in human form. He muses that her instincts as an Ackerman are the sole reason why Mikasa has stuck by him for so long. Bringing up the example of her attempted kidnapping, Eren reminds Mikasa that she only acted when he told her to. Realizing this, Mikasa tries to explain it off, but Eren remarks that Ackermans also suffer severe headaches due to their true selves fighting the urge to protect the host. Recalling that it happened to her, Eren flatly states the real Mikasa died that day in the hut, and all that is left are her Ackerman instincts. Mikasa is unable to speak and starts to break down and cry when Eren claims he has always hated her, calling her nothing more than an obedient slave. When Armin tries to assault Eren, Mikasa swiftly blocks his attack and slams him into the table, much to both their shock and horror. As Eren starts beating Armin, Mikasa continues to cry and begs him to stop. Eren then orders her, Armin, and Gabi taken away to Shiganshina district. Afterwards, Mikasa is relocated to a prison cell alongside the other captives. During her imprisonment, Jean inquires more about her recent encounter with Eren from Armin, but Mikasa rebuffs the remarks, not wanting to explain. They're then interrupted by Yelena, who came to explain Zeke's true intentions. Afterwards, Mikasa remains idle as the others react to Yelena's explanation of the euthanization plan. As the fight on the rooftop ensues, Mikasa and the other prisoners wonder what the sound overhead them was about. 𝐻𝐤𝐚 arrives shortly to release them, requesting that all imprisoned soldiers join the fight against Marley to keep Eren safe. As they head to put on sets of vertical maneuvering equipment, Mikasa and Armin discuss what Eren's motivations might be for pushing them away. Although Armin is unsure of Eren's intentions, he assures Mikasa that Eren was lying about her Ackerman genes and simply used his knowledge of her headaches to give his lie credence. As she's suiting up, Mikasa is visited by Louise, who tries to bond with her. Mikasa ignores the girl and departs for the battlefield. Before leaving, she folds up the scarf given to her by Eren and leaves it behind. Along with the others, Mikasa notices Zeke getting shot and falling off the wall. As Armin decides they must neutralize the Cart Titan, both of them are shot at by several Marleyan soldiers hiding in a nearby house. After Connie destroys it with a thunder spear, Mikasa goes with Armin to the Cart Titan while Commander Pixis and Nile Doc of the military police coordinate efforts on the ground. Suddenly, a loud scream is heard throughout the district. Mikasa sees several flashes of light and realizes that Zeke has transformed the affected soldiers into pure Titans. Reaching the top of the wall where the Cart Titan is stationed, Mikasa saves Armin after he destroys the Titan artillery cannon atop its back. She is then charged by the Cart Titan and angles out of range while preparing to strike it. Before they can engage, Eren and Zeke make contact, causing the wall to collapse and abruptly ending Mikasa's attack. Mikasa and Armin are horrified to see the Titans inside emerging. Looking at Eren's new Titan form, Mikasa wonders if there was any other choice they could have made, or if she had answered differently when Eren had asked her what he meant to her. That could have avoided the battle that they find themselves in now. As the Wall Titans begin to march, Armin assumes that Eren is using the Founding Titan to send the Wall Titans to attack the forces amassing in Marley to attack Paradis. However, he's perplexed to see that all of Wall Maria is crumbling, telling Mikasa that an attack on Marley should have only required the Titans contained in Shiganshina's outer wall. They're interrupted by Eren, who begins speaking to all subjects of Ymir through the Founding Titan. To Mikasa's shock, Eren declares that he's going to be using the Founding Titan to completely exterminate all life outside of Paradis Island. Mikasa and Armin regroup with Jean and Connie, who have Falco with them. Noticing their fellow soldiers being attacked by Titans, Armin and Jean go to help them, but Mikasa points out that they need to deal with Falco. Jean suggests feeding the boy to one of the Titans, while Connie argues that his mother should be allowed to eat Falco. Armin does not want to sacrifice Falco at all, arguing that killing him will only breed more animosity with the warriors. The group is attacked by a Titan, allowing Connie to flee with Falco before the group can stop him. The group returns to the military headquarters where they rally the soldiers trapped inside to help them kill the Titans which have amassed around the building. After clearing out the first wave of Titans, Mikasa's group lies in wait at the building while more soldiers lead the remaining Titans to the building to be killed. When combat had ended, Mr. Blouse brings Mikasa and Armin to go meet with Gabi, who begs them to return Falco to her. Armin explains what has happened to Falco, and Gabi desperately tries to argue that Eren can return Connie's mother to normal with the Founding Titan in order to spare Falco. Gabi argues that he was capable of even removing the Armor Titan's hardened skin, prompting Mikasa to ask Gabi about Reiner's whereabouts. Mikasa tries to convince Armin not to pursue Connie to Ragako, but is unsuccessful. As Armin is leaving, Mikasa tries to ask Armin what they will do about Eren, causing Armin to lash out at her for not focusing on more pressing issues that they have. He then tells her that Erwin would have had better judgment in that moment and departs. As Armin leaves, Mikasa notices that her scarf is no longer where she left it. Mikasa later finds Jean and Floch with a dead volunteer and demands to know what happened. Floch claims to be acting on Eren's behalf to wipe out any resentment Paradis might have. Floch attempts to recruit Jean, but Mikasa interrupts him, demanding to know what happened to Hanji and Levi. Floch claims to her shock that Zeke killed them. The next morning, Mikasa finds Louise in the infirmary wearing her missing scarf. Louise claims that Eren told her to throw the scarf away, so she decided to take it instead, prompting Mikasa to demand that she return it immediately. Later, Mikasa and Jean are contacted by Hanji, who informs the two of the plan to join forces with Marley to stop Eren. Mikasa agrees to it. After receiving the signal from Jean to leave the military headquarters, Mikasa departs with her comrades. On their way out of Shiganshina, they pick up and join forces with Annie and Reiner. That night, The combined forces of Marley and Paradis share a meal as they discuss how to oppose Eren. As tensions run high between the Survey Corps and the warriors, Annie demands to know if the Corps will be able to kill Eren if no other option is presented. Mikasa states that killing Eren is not the only way to stop him, confirming Annie's suspicions that Mikasa and her friends would try to stop the warriors from killing Eren. Mikasa steps up to confront Annie, but she diffuses the situation by assuring Mikasa that she has no issue with Eren living if he can be convinced to stop the rumbling. The next day, the group travels to Paradis Harbor with the intention of using the Azumabito clan's airship to pursue Eren, only to find that the harbor has been occupied by Yeagerists. As the group gears up for a confrontation, Annie suggests launching an all-out attack, and Mikasa reminds her that they cannot risk getting the Azumabito killed in the crossfire. The discussion is interrupted by Hanji, who reveals to everyone's horror that Eren and his Titans have apparently already reached Marley. The group settles on a plan to try to trick Floch into handing over the Azumabito mechanics so that they can operate the ship. Floch instead tries to execute the Azumabito, necessitating Mikasa to intervene and save them. Mikasa helps Kiyomi disarm Floch and his guards, but Floch manages to escape and alert the other Yeagerists to their attack. Mikasa, Hanji, Jean, and Magath lead Kiyomi and the mechanics to the basement of the building that they were being kept in and take shelter there so that Annie and Reiner can transform and fight without risk of collateral damage. After it is decided that the flying boat will be taken to Ōriha so that it can be prepared for flight under more favorable conditions, Mikasa brings news of the change to Annie and Reiner and instructs them to protect the Azumabito service crew. As Mikasa engages the Yeagerists, she is alerted by Hanji about reinforcements arriving by train, but is shocked to see the train derail itself. Once the boat is ready to depart, Mikasa helps carry an injured Annie on board. On board the ship, Mikasa and Jean are seen holding back Annie, who is in distress after Hanji reveals that Liberio cannot be saved from the rumbling anymore. Upon arriving in Ōriha, Mikasa helps out with the preparations for the flying boat to take off. While working, Mikasa suggests that Annie practice with the new anti-personnel equipment, but Annie reiterates that she does not intend to continue helping the group. Mikasa notices Annie watching Armin and reminds her that he will be going with them to find Eren. But Annie does not change her mind. Annie asks Mikasa if she will kill Eren to save humanity, and Mikasa claims that she will not. As work on the flying boat nears completion, Mikasa and the other soldiers prepare to depart. However, Floch reveals himself inside the hangar, having followed them across the ocean, and fires on them. Mikasa fires one of her anchors into Floch's throat, killing him before he can harm anyone, but she is not quick enough to stop him from rupturing the boat's fuel tank. As Eren's Titans arrive in Ōriha, the group is forced to depart without Hanji, who stays behind to buy them time to escape. En route to Eren, Mikasa participates in the meeting to discuss the best plan to stop him. During the meeting, Mikasa inquires about Reiner's hunch that Eren wants to be stopped by someone. The meeting is interrupted as the group is being pulled into paths by Eren. As his comrades try to talk Eren down, Mikasa pleads for Eren to return to them. Seeing Eren in the distance, Mikasa and the others try to reach him, but are unable to get any closer. Eren tells them that he called them to paths to let them know that they will have to kill him to stop the rumbling, before sending them back to the flying boat. As the flying boat reaches Eren, it comes under fire from the Beast Titan. Mikasa and her comrades jump from the boat and use their maneuvering gear to evade the beast's projectiles before engaging it directly. The group makes short work of the Beast Titan, only to find that Zeke is not inside its nape. Mikasa is alarmed when Armin decides to transform and use the explosion to find Zeke, but Armin reassures her that he does not intend to kill Eren. However, before Armin can execute his plan, an army of Titans begins generating atop Eren and abducts him. Pieck is disabled while trying to blow up Eren's nape, and Levi orders his squad to focus on saving Armin. They do not get far before Bertolt Hoover's Colossus Titan appears. It disables Reiner's Titan and throws it at the group, knocking them off Eren's Titan. Mikasa is left as the only soldier with functioning maneuvering equipment in any state to fight, leaving her as the only one to defend her comrades from the approaching Titans. Mustering her strength, Mikasa prepares to make a last stand against the Titans, only for them all to be whisked to safety by Falco, who has learned to fly in his Titan form. Atop Falco's Titan, Mikasa reveals to Annie that Armin has been captured by Eren's Titans and asks Annie to help rescue him. Levi decides to have the group split up to simultaneously rescue Armin and detonate the explosives on Eren's nape, to Mikasa's horror. Mikasa tries to change her friends' minds but is unsuccessful, and Annie orders her to focus on rescuing Armin to take her mind off of Eren. Arriving at Eren's Titan's tailbone, Mikasa, Connie, and Annie identify the Titan which took Armin and begin their pursuit of it. As the three fight off the Titans which attacked them, the Okapi Titan which took Armin flees, and Mikasa has Annie throw her in its direction in the hopes of catching up to it. However, other Titans begin physically shielding it, and she eventually breaks her blades on the skin of an armor Titan. Annie saves Mikasa from the armor, but the two of them and Connie are left surrounded as the Okapi flees to Bertholdt's Colossus Titan. Just as they are about to be overwhelmed, Bertholdt's Titan intervenes and begins fighting alongside them. Mikasa uses the opportunity to pursue the Okapi again and is finally able to cut Armin out of its mouth after Gabi shoots it in the head. Jean manages to detonate Eren's nape thanks to the help of their new allies, and Mikasa joins her friends in evacuating 𝐷𝐷𝐴𝐷𝐼𝐼's Titan so that Armin can transform. As the group touches down in Fort Salta, Mikasa begins suffering from another headache, grieving that the last conversation she had with Eren ended with him claiming he hated her. The group is relieved to see that Reiner survived Armin's transformation, but they're disheartened to see that Eren and the centipede also survived. To Mikasa's distress, Levi decides that the only hope they have of stopping the rumbling is killing Eren so that the source cannot reattach itself to him. The source begins emitting smoke into Salta, and the soldiers realize that it's attempting to transform the Eldians in the fort into pure Titans. Leaving behind Jean and Connie, Mikasa joins Levi and Pieck in boarding Falco and departing to face Eren once again. As they draw near to Eren, Mikasa experiences another strong headache and is suddenly brought into a path's place by Eren. Mikasa is living in isolation with Eren following their decision to run away from the Paradis-Marlene conflict. Eren notices that Mikasa has been crying, and Mikasa wonders if it's okay for her to be there. Eren muses that the only option they had was to run away and live out the rest of his 4 years in peace together. Mikasa apologizes for bringing up the past, and Eren asks her to forget about him when he dies. In the real world, Mikasa says that she cannot forget him. Tying her scarf around her neck once again, Mikasa tells Levi that Eren is inside his Titan's mouth and asks him to help her reach him. Levi uses a thunder spear to blow a hole in Eren's Titan mouth, and Mikasa enters it, immediately severing Eren's head from the spine. Kissing Eren, Mikasa bids him goodbye. Carrying Eren's head, Mikasa finds Armin on the battlefield, and the two mourn their friend's death. Mikasa tells Armin that she plans to leave on her own so that she can give Eren a proper burial. The two agree that the best place to bury him is at the foot of the tree that he liked to nap under, and Mikasa departs. Mikasa returns to Paradis Island and, true to her word, makes a small grave for Eren at the tree that he liked to sleep under outside of Shiganshina district. 3 years after his death, Mikasa visits Eren's grave and reveals that their friends are going to be coming to visit him soon. Wishing to see him again, Mikasa begins to cry. Her tears are interrupted by a bird, which grabs the end of her scarf and tightens it before flying away. As she watches the bird fly away, Mikasa thanks Eren for wrapping the scarf around her once more. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It really means a lot to us. We'll see you guys very soon in one of our next videos.